Well,
Hey,
hey, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you might be. And we're just so glad to be here again today.
it's
And
been a minute.
it's been a big minute.
Yeah. This is our first podcast of the new year.
Yes, it is.
You
And
believe that?
we have been busy enjoying the holidays, doing what we have to do with family. We went
Mhm.
back to Iowa, Illinois, and we froze.
Yeah, that's
My,
an understatement.
oh my goodness.
We did have a few good days, but where it wasn't freezing, but we also got kind of stuck in a blizzard area, so
Yes, we did.
mhm.
But guess what? We stayed woke. Mm,
Woke. We sure did.
woke. Uh, I'm Reverend Dr. Barry Staples.
And I'm the lovely co-host,
Very lovely.
Reverend Jennifer Staples.
Yes. And
And I'm just getting over some sort of nasty virus, so
yes. And you want to tell people what woke really means?
it means to be awake.
Okay. But what are those variables that we
Oh,
share?
do you want me to read it?
I do want you to read it.
All right. Woke is a badge of honor, knowledge, and wisdom. I think we all want that, right? Especially
Yes.
wisdom and knowledge.
Yes, we do.
To have or be marked by an active, what does that say? Awareness
Yes.
of systemic injustices and prejudice,
And racism.
especially those related to civil and human rights. It also means wise, open-minded, kind, and empathetic.
Yes.
And it's also the opposite of asleep.
Yes. And this is going to be kind of an extensive, but I think necessary episode. There's so many things going on out there right now. And, both of us are ordained pastors. And so I like to always share something scripturally with all of us. 1 Peter 3:12, that means First Peter, you have second and third. Third chapter, the 12th verse says, "For the eyes of the Lord are on the righteous, and his ears are attentive to their prayer. But the face of the Lord is against those who do evil."
Mm.
Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Yes. So, Jennifer, can you expound on that? Because I think you recently had a situation where you were talking to someone about evil without
Mhm.
giving out names.
Well, you just want to make sure that you're always doing right in the eyes of the Lord and you're not doing evil things, because I always want God's face to be shining on me.
Amen. Yes. And I really think that I like to just share with you. We're going to talk a little bit.
Sorry for the dog barking in the background. I think that Amazon's here.
Yes. Yeah, our dogs are really interesting. They the attack of the postman and anything with the uniform on, they are protecting us basically, because it doesn't look right for someone to come up, which kind of fits with our episode, to march up onto our property wearing some kind of uniform.
Mm.
And who knows, help us if it's a gun. We'll talk about that later.
Mhm.
So I just want to share with y'all as we get started, and you can see that we dressed in kind of blue today.
Matches my eyes.
You're kind of shy today. Well, yeah, don't make my brown eyes blue. And there's so many things that have hit my heart. I'm going to talk about two incidents is one incident no one's talking about, but it hit me on New Year's Eve when this happened in California. We're going to talk a little bit about Keith Porter, Los Angeles, and Renee Nicole Good, Minneapolis, and the situation. I'll go back to, and we're going to talk about fear today. I'll give you a little background. I come from the civil rights movement. As I marched, I sang those songs, "We Shall Overcome, I Shall Not Be Moved." My family, you can see by my last name is Staples. My family are the world-renowned staple singers, Mavis and Pops. Mavis is the only one left. And I remember spending lots of times talking to Pops and my dad, the late Reverend A.Q. Staples, about growing up in Jim Crow, Mississippi. And my father would tell me things that would happen. And so interesting, I didn't live in Mississippi, but I lived in the Chicagoland area. And I experienced a lot of those same things living up north, as we say, in the promised land.
Mm.
You know, Claude Brown wrote a book, Man Child in the Promised Land. He came out of Harlem, New York, and had gone through a lot of things within the system. And growing up as a young boy, chucking and jiving, running numbers and those things that people did. You all don't know about running numbers. Running numbers was the first concept of what we call the lottery today. But when I witnessed what happened to that young lady, it brought back so many memories to me. I went through that. I went through it. The fear. I just give you a quick backdrop on two incidents, a few more. I have two friends that were going to the high school area that I was going to. I was home from college and from Michigan, and they used to have annual race ride. This was in 1970, 2 years removed from the assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Bobby Kennedy was gone. Of course, his brother, John F. Kennedy, gone before, many years before. So they wanted me to pick them up from the school. So I'm driving down this main street in that area, and a van kept hitting the back. Man, I just said it was what we call race riots in high schools. If you're familiar with the Watts riots and those kind of things, and it's in that same ball frame of consciousness, a ballpark of consciousness. And so this van kept hitting my vehicle. So I stopped and I get out, and it was kind of like a TV repair type van. Y'all don't know what that means today. You get a TV today. If it breaks down, you just throw it away and get another one for
It must
200.
have been a big like cargo van.
Yeah, it was kind of like a
Mhm.
cargo van. And inside, this guy had a German Shepherd. So I opened up my trunk and I said, "You let that dog out on me, I'm going to have to use this." So I get back in, I take off. So we're going down this main street. It's a main street out of that area. And my friend up front and two other friends were in the back. They said, "There's some police lights behind us, and there's some on that road." And so the one officer behind me, the car behind me, said, "Pull over, stop, or I'm opening fire." And I pull over, and I'm sitting there, I'm letting my window down, and bam, right to the side of this temple is a gun. And I could see the pump action. And he said, "Put your hands on the dash," he used the N word, "or I'll blow your brains out." I'm up here wondering what is going on here. And that's what I said to him. What is happening? What's wrong here? And he told me to shut up. He opens his door, pulls me out, still with the gun on my head. On the other side was the officer, my friend. They took her out of the van, and it was a four-door. They opened the door to the back. So we're all standing out there. He still has a gun on me, and I'm asking him what's going on. He gets the keys, opens up the trunk, and he says, "Where's the gun?" I said, "What gun are you talking about?" "Your shotgun." Apparently, the guy had called back and said I had a shotgun in my hand, was going to kill him or whatever. But I was afraid. Fear. That is the key of what is happening to all of us in America. There's another incident I won't get into yet because, I want to try to stay somewhat composed today. But when I saw that happening to that young lady, that one incident came to my mind that I was in that situation. So as the Staple Singers proceeded doing civil rights, a song came to my mind. We're seeing things, we're watching things happen right before our eyes, and we're told that our eyes are lying to us.
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
Well, that's exactly what we've been told.
What did you see when you saw the video?
In the video, we're talking about Renee Nicole Goodman.
Good,
Mhm.
good, Renee, good.
So, yeah. Well, what did I see?
Mhm.
I saw her get shot for no reason.
Yes. And so, um, Mavis them had a song out, maybe Staples Singers had a song out that made me think about what we are being thrown at us. And I want us to share these lyrics with you. And I want you to pay close attention to what they say. And I go back to the first page. Okay. And this is Mavis is actually singing and talking about growing up in Jim Crow, Mississippi, and Pops is sharing things with her. It seems so real today. And they talk about Dr. King. You know, they traveled with Dr. King. They would sing, he would preach. Uh, Dad knew Dr. King. And so this is very personal to me, but these lyrics are so real because of what they say about today. So I'm going to read some, then Jennifer, you can take the next page.
Okay.
We can comment as we go along. If you have something to say as I'm reading this, please do. This is Mavis talking when she says, I was just a little girl traveling with my pops, thrown in jail for nothing by some Southern racist cops. Reverend Martin, that's Martin Luther King Jr., told us what needed to be done. And if he can preach it, we can sing it, help you make the new day come. I'll tell you more about that phrase there, where it came from. We took the walk to DC, my heart in the church. I prayed, oh, my child, fix that anger and hurt. It's been almost 50 years. Yes, for me too. How much longer will it last? We need a change now more than ever. Why are we still treated so bad? With my own eyes, with my own eyes, saw it with my own eyes. We saw what happened to that young lady with my own eyes, so I know it's true. I saw New Orleans, saw the people left for dead. We saw her left for dead.
Yeah.
I've heard every bold-faced lie you politicians said, Christy Noel. I've seen for myself, and you can't fool your sight. Listen to that. Well, we better make a change, and we better start tonight. With my own eyes, saw it with my own eyes. So I know it's true. Sure enough, I do. With my own eyes, I saw it with my own eyes. You can't fool me, news people. I saw it. I saw it in the next page.
Yes, I did. So I know the truth. I know the truth. I know the truth. I saw it. We saw. Ha ha. With my own eyes. Ah ha. Some other day, my father would tell me, he said, Mavis, I've seen this years ago when I was a boy. And I thought by now, all of this should be taken care of long ago. When I was a boy, I didn't think I'd be a grown man looking at it still. We got to spread our word. You just be strong. Be strong. As long as you got your family, that's the strongest unit in the world. Stick together with your brother and sisters. That will keep you strong. Can't nobody break you. All right, Pops, it's been almost 50 years. Though how much longer will it last? We need a change now more than ever. Why? Why? Somebody tell me why are we still treated so bad? Oh, Lord, 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 Lord.
Take it to Jesus.
My own eyes. With my own eyes. Yeah, yeah, my own eyes. Whoa, my own eyes. I know it's true. I saw it with my own eyes. I saw it with my own eyes. Didn't nobody tell me about it? I saw it. I saw it. I saw it. Yes, I did.
Pleading, all of us, what we saw and what we understand, we saw it with our eyes. She even in that song called on God
Mhm.
to be her witness. Oh Lord, oh Lord. And then she continues to the end. And I know it's true. Yeah, yeah. My own eyes. Did you see it? all you people in America. Did you see it? Have you been there? I know all about it. I'm gonna write a book about it though. Let y'all read what I'm talking about. But in the meantime, just listen to my song. All right now. With my own eyes, I know it's true. Yes, my own eyes, and I know it's true. I saw it with my own eyes. And she says again, I saw it with my own eyes. It calls on the Lord. I know it's true. Saw it with my own eyes. Yes, I did. Huh. My own eyes. My own eyes, I know it's true. I wouldn't tell you no lie. I leave that to the politicians. All right? Yes, I saw it with my own eyes.
Wow, that's powerful. And how fitting.
Very fitting.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yeah. And so
We've been told that we haven't seen what we really have seen.
I'm telling you, it's all right to understand this. So right now, this is what is going on, folks. We have fear
Mm-hmm.
that is sweeping the land.
Mm-hmm.
We have fear that's sweeping the land. As my family marched during the civil rights, and my father and pops him talked to me about the Night Riders. That's another name that you don't hear about. The Night Riders was another name given to the Ku Klux Klan. The Night Riders. They they came at night wearing hoods and carrying on. Um, so give you a little idea of what you're looking at. This is it. 1922 is not far removed from 2025, 2026 now.
Mm-mm.
Instead of them having white hoods on, they got masks around their face.
Mm-hmm.
As that song said, we see this with our own eyes, walking the streets.
Man, this is like history repeating itself. Look at this.
Oh my goodness, Jennifer, I can tell you stories. And I didn't live in the South. I lived in the North.
Mm-hmm.
Places I couldn't go, people I wasn't supposed to talk to. And so when we talk about the Klan, I want everybody to think about this. We're talking about now, not just a Black situation.
Right.
I just got it, and I wish I had the information to put up here about being woke. Black people have always been woke.
Yeah.
We've been woke to all the stuff that's going on. And woke means being aware. Don't get it twisted. Woke means being aware. It's not some new age principle that's saying, oh, you're anti this and anti that. No, it's being aware about what is going on. We've been aware about the issues in the doctrine of white supremacy, KKK slash WAGA, white Christian nationalism, and now in coveted and with the mandates of ICE on the left there, you see the ICE people. They might as well put hoods back on.
So what I'm seeing, and correct me if you see things differently, no longer is the main issue in our country racism. Now we're looking at it's discrimination slash racist. It's not a black or white issue anymore. It's becoming a woke or a sleep issue.
No, racism is still there.
Well, I know racism is still there, but now what we're seeing is our own government turning against its people.
That's authoritarianism.
Yes.
That's what we're dealing with here. So here we have the KKK without their the hoods on, but here we go. I want us to pay attention to this and see, Jennifer, tell me your first thought when you see this. I know what I thought about. Any thought?
I mean,
This could be us.
yeah, okay.
You and me.
Yeah.
This could be us. We'll have a guest on pretty soon, and she's said those words about what happened to Renee, that it could have been her.
Mm-hmm.
But you got a young Black man on New Year's Eve. Now, this is something that a lot of people do, and don't get it twisted. Don't act like it doesn't happen. I'm sorry about these dogs making noise, and I hope it's not interfering. But it's kind of traditional. People get a gun, they go out and shoot in the air. Happy New Year, Happy New Year.
It's stupid, but it
It's very
happens.
stupid because the bullet's got to come down somewhere. So on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, Keith Porter, he went out and shot his gun in the air. An off-duty ICE person. Instead of calling the Los Angeles police, oh, there was a gunshot. Well, everybody was shooting guns and firecrackers going off. He shot his gun. The guy grabs his assault rifle, this ICE agent, goes down and kills Keith Porter. That was on December 31st. No one said anything about this. But on 8 days later, on January 7th, an ICE agent, Jonathan Ross, shot and killed Renee Nicole Good in Minneapolis, who was trying to get out of the way to move and go. And she was there to get support to her neighbors that were being harassed by ICE.
Mm-hmm.
Both people dead. Could have been me. Could have been me. Could have been you.
Could have been.
You know, and so the fear that we are facing right now is astronomical.
And that's what they want. They want us to be afraid. They want us to stand down and let them do whatever they want to do to whomever they want to do it to. And we're not to even warn our neighbors.
Yes. So I'm sure a lot of you have seen the video of what happened to her, but I want to look at this. There's an analysis video that I really want us to look at so we can understand what I'm getting at. So we have people, as my cousin said, we looking at things with lion eyes, and we have people that are afraid of going on. So I want you to look at something about fear, but I want us to look at basically what has happened with the whole thing about the shooting that people are really aware of. If I can pull this up. Now she's shot.
It is a shocking video at the center of a national conversation. An ICE agent shooting and killing a civilian in the middle of a Minneapolis street. Now, over the last 24 hours, Americans have hit the streets to voice their outrage and call for accountability. You're looking at videos from protests in every corner of the country, from New York to Seattle, Southern California to Central Florida, and all across the Midwest. In fact, we even had our own small demonstration in downtown Detroit with larger protests scheduled for Friday and Saturday. And tonight, we want to take a closer look at the video at the center of all of this and the renewed debate over use of force. Joining us now to highlight some key points investigators will be looking at is former Detroit Police Assistant Chief Steve Doland. And with Steve's help, we're going to really go through the video and pause it at key points to take a look at the complex factors that went into both this tragic outcome and the intense investigation in the days and weeks ahead. And Steve, we thank you for joining us here tonight.
No problem. Thank you.
Now, obviously, there are mixed versions of what happened before the cameras started rolling. So we're going to focus specifically on what we can see with our own eyes. So let's start
with our own eyes.
As we see law enforcement members pull up to the scene and exit their vehicle right there. And they begin walking towards an SUV that's parked on the road. So I guess, Steve, the first question I have here is, what's the thought process of not just driving around or alerting this person by laying down their horn? What do you make of this first process, this first step?
I wouldn't pull in front of the vehicle because it's occupied. She's already blocking the street. You don't want to get another accident and have the passenger of the ICE vehicle injured. So that's one reason why I wouldn't go around. The second, it appears there's a vehicle over here, ICE vehicle, right, blocking her in. They both get out of the car and approach from the side, which is smart. I'm assuming there's an officer on that side trying to investigate her. So I can understand this. This I got.
This part we understand.
This I'm good.
So let's unpause the video and we'll see as the officers actually approach her vehicle, and one of them goes right to the door to try and open it. Now, here's the issue. Granted, we don't have the body cam audio. We don't even have body cam video because they weren't wearing it. But if you had to guess what's being said.
Later we found out that The
turn
killer
off the car,
did.
because I've been there, done that, unfortunately. Turn off the car and exit the vehicle. Because the window's down. The window's, right?
Right.
He's reaching in.
Yep.
And so the window's down, and I'm told that there were mixed, the officers had given mixed commands. Get out of the car, put your hands up, stay in the car, whatever. He's reaching in to unlock the door because the door's locked. She's not obeying a lawful command, it appears right now.
When you say, like, so if you go up to someone who's in a car and they're not obeying your command, how common is it to unlock the door and try to open it yourself?
Well, usually the window's rolled up, they don't want to talk to you. But in this case, it's down, and whatever she's saying, she's saying. So you don't want to get out, okay, I'm going to unlock the car. I'm asking you to get out. You don't want to get out, that's fine. I'm going to get you out. Now, unlike what happened in Melvindale, where they tased the person, he hasn't done that.
Right.
He's like, get out of the car, get out of the car. She's not getting out of the car.
And so, Steve, let's go ahead and unpause the video again and advance this just a second or two as the driver begins to pull away here. Now the officer who ultimately fired the deadly shots is being kind of obscured behind the colleague there, as you can see. But if you look closely, you can actually see his gun has been pulled from the holster.
Yes.
And he has
In
his
this
camera
step,
in his other
anything
hand.
alarming? Anything speaks to you?
Yes.
Cell phone.
First, why is he in front of the car? The car is a deadly weapon. So why would you place yourself in front of the car? Now, he may have been walking around, but that's a deadly weapon. So now you're going to pull your gun out. The other two officers don't have their gun out, and they have direct contact with her. They don't perceive an immediate threat. He does. Now, in hindsight, we've heard that he was dragged down the street several months ago, the same officer.
Right.
Okay. Tactically, I'm not happy with that. And again, these two do not have their weapons drawn. They do not, it doesn't appear that they are in fear of their life. Why he's doing that, I can't speak.
And so there are question marks for you here as to why, again, the placement of this officer. Why are you standing here?
Yes.
You would say if you were deputy chief and this was your office, you'd say you should have stood over here.
Yeah, or stayed on this side of the vehicle, because you have an ICE vehicle here. There's the curb right there, unless she's going to drive up there. Why are you placing yourself in danger? That's my opinion.
Well, Steve, let's go ahead and advance the video just a few frames here. Just a few frames as the officer.
She's turning her wheels to the
3
right.
times through the driver's side window and the front windshield, striking the driver, who then crashed into another vehicle a little way down the street. And when you look at specific time codes here, and I want to kind of show this to you, you'll actually see those 3 shots were all fired within 11 and a half seconds of the officers actually exiting their vehicle and arriving at the scene. So when you look at this specific video angle, it ends here, but that's not where the story ends.
No.
And so what do you make of what's going to happen here as we're going to show you this next clip? We're going to play a clip for you full screen of an encounter that happened just a few minutes later. So take a close look at this.
Okay.
Can I go check a pulse? No! Back up! Now! I'm a physician! I don't care.
We understand. We got EMS coming. I get it. Just give us a second. We have medics on scene. We have our own medics.
Where are they? Where are they?
All right, right there, you're hearing from concerned bystanders, including a doctor,
It's
as
not-
Renee Good, lady
it says
motionless in the
blows me
driver's seat of the
away.
car.
Why don't you let the
doctor
doctor go
was
check on
basically
her?
denied access to the victim. Ambulances got there just a few minutes later, but according to our Minneapolis Fox station there, ICE vehicles blocked ambulances from actually reaching the scene. And finally, 15 minutes later, agents carried her limp body to paramedics. She didn't die there at the scene. She died at the
they
hospital.
drug her
Nonetheless, time was
out
lost there.
the
Now, a
vehicle
lot
on
of
the
people are actually
ground.
pointing to this moment as another big problem in how the first aid element was actually handled or not handled. And so you got a lot going on here between the shooting and the first aid problems. What are your thoughts of what you saw there?
Okay. So when you block a street, the problem there, it's unlawful because you're preventing egress and ingress in a case like this for first responders to get there. When you have this and the shooting, you try to get the individual out as soon as possible to get medical attention. So why you would deny, if it's true, EMS to get there is beyond me. You want
Right.
them to get in there because even though you're an ICE agent, you're not a medical professional. You may have been trained in first aid, but this person's been shot 3 times. They should have allowed him in my opinion. And then you said they dragged her out of the car and took her. No, that's EMS's job to work on in the car and then get her out of there and transport.
And so there are so many questions. Obviously, the rules of use of force are different between a local agency like Detroit Police and a federal one like ICE and DHS. So we actually tracked down their official policy to compare their written regulations and how things unfolded in Minneapolis.
This is
Now,
very
here's the deal. There are
interesting.
3 excerpts that we want to highlight for you. When it comes to deadly force, the guidelines read like this. Officers may use deadly force only when necessary. That is when the officer has a reasonable belief that the subject of such force poses an imminent threat of death or serious bodily injury to the officer or another person. Deadly force shall not be used solely to prevent the escape of a fleeing subject. Now, on the very next page of the guidelines, there is a specific subsection having to do with vehicles, and it reads this. Officers are prohibited from discharging firearms at the operator of a moving vehicle unless the use of deadly force against the operator is justified under the standards articulated elsewhere in this policy. And when it comes to first aid, this is important. You just heard Steve talk about that. Why? Well, the policy reads, as soon as practicable following a use of force and the end of any perceived public safety threat, officers shall obtain appropriate medical assistance for any subject who has visible or apparent injuries. This may include rendering first aid, requesting emergency medical services, and or arranging transportation to an appropriate medical facility. But here's the thing. If you go to ICE's website tonight to look at those same use of force policies, this is what you're finding.
Redacted.
Cover up.
13 pages of blacked out, redacted material with a reference code B7E, which is specific redaction code indicating the information is relevant to ongoing criminal investigations. Tonight, we reached out to both DHS and ICE for comment. DHS says the agency's policy has not changed since 2023.
But they won't let us read it.
Did not respond. So, with all that information in mind, Steve, we want to get your final thoughts as this investigation enters its early stages. And obviously, there are so many pieces and parts to this. But overall, what do you believe happened here? What do you think of what happened?
It's totally subjective as to whether the woman is fight or flight. She's seen the gun being drawn. Did she want to flee or run over the officer? Subjective in him. Can I get out of the way or do I have to fire my weapon? Am I in immediate danger? Subjective, we'll never know what her thought process was. That'll come out about his. The medical thing, I don't agree with what they did. You got to get there right away. The redaction, it's federal government. Are you really surprised?
Do you believe that the feds and everyday people like us on the streets are rushing to judgment too quickly? How much more time and dedication of really researching this case will it take to find the truth?
I think both, because I think Christine Noem jumped the gun saying it's a domestic terrorist act. No, what happened in Dearborn was a domestic terrorist attack. They want to wreak havoc on a bunch of people. I don't think she woke up in the morning and said, I'm going to kill an ICE agent. My opinion.
Former Assistant Chief Dolan, we thank you so much for your perspective always here on the broadcast. Thanks for joining us with your insight tonight. Our coverage of this story doesn't stop here. Still ahead tonight, we'll hear from Genesee County Sheriff Chris Swanson, who has some strong words for the agents involved in this tragedy and what this means for law enforcement officers everywhere. You can rewatch this.
So, Jennifer.
Yeah.
That's a lot there.
It's heavy. It is a lot. Of course, she did not wake up that morning thinking she was going to be involved in anything that was going to be remotely harmful to her like this. I am very concerned. So yeah, we're never going to know what she was thinking because she's gone. But if it were me, if I were in her shoes and I was in that truck and I was being approached by ICE agents and one was reaching in trying to open the door and drag me out of there, I would want to get out of there. I don't think she even saw that officer in front of her at all. I think she was focused on the officer climbing in her window with his hand and trying to open the door, and she was just trying to get out. She was just trying to get away.
Right.
And then Jonathan Ross was why was he even standing in front of the vehicle? That's not even what he was supposed to be doing. He had that gun drawn when she started backing up and turning her wheel. That's when he drew that gun. He was out to shoot her. He was out to kill her. He didn't care. He didn't care.
Okay, let me back up to the other person, what happened. Okay, I talked about Keith Porter. So let's see.
Developing tonight, we're hearing from the family of a man who authorities say was firing gunshots in celebration of the new year when he was shot and killed by an off-duty ICE agent. Fox 11's Rachel Aragon joining us live from Universal City, where the family's
That's a
attorney
very good
is calling
comment.
for an investigation. Rachel?
Like here,
Yeah, thorough
just going to
investigation,
shoot and
according to
kill.
the attorney and the family. Of course, that means to them, police interview everyone in the area that night on New Year's Eve to see if, in fact, Keith Porter shot towards that off-duty officer. But according to the family attorney I talked to earlier today, he says as of now, he sees no evidence that Porter himself was a threat that night.
His heart. Oh my God, he just loves so deeply.
Just days into the new year, the mother of 43-year-old Keith Porter is still filled with grief and disbelief. According to law enforcement, her son Keith fired celebratory gunshots into the air with an AR-15 style rifle outside his apartment complex on New Year's Eve.
Armed with an AR-15 rifle, possibly suffering from a gunshot wound.
An LAPD report states the off-duty federal officer confronted Porter, identified himself as law enforcement, and claims Porter fired toward him, prompted the officer to return fire.
What should have been a simple arrest and possible a citation has turned into a death sentence.
The family's attorney says this all could have been avoided.
But instead of staying in his apartment for a trained law enforcement officer from LAPD to respond, he made the premeditated and calculated decision to grab a firearm.
Fox 11 reached out to the Department of Homeland Security. In a statement, the department said the off-duty ICE officer bravely responded to an active shooter situation at his apartment complex. In order to protect his life and that of others, he was forced to defensively use his weapon. DHS goes on to say their officer immediately called police.
According to his version, Keith shot 3 shots towards him. We have questions on if there was any shell casing recovered from Keith's weapon that would indicate he in fact fired the weapon 3 times.
Keith's family and their attorneys say they have yet to find a witness to corroborate that the father of 2 fired towards the off-duty officer.
I just want to pause this, and that's all we need to see of this.
Wow.
But what do you make of that?
Well, you got an off-duty ICE officer thinking that he's above the law. He is the law, and that he's going to go out. He instead of following what he was off duty. Why didn't he call the police? Why didn't he call 911? Instead, oh, I'm going to grab my gun. I'm going to take care of this guy.
Yes, and so we have 2 individuals that are dead now, and
one other thing I wanted to say about the Nicole Good shooting, Renee, excuse me, the ICE officer who shot and killed her. I feel like he did that so quickly. He could have shot his own officers.
Yeah, he could have
easily, because that first bullet went through the front windshield.
Yeah,
It could have ricocheted or missed her and hit his own officers.
he was hell bent on killing that woman,
Mm-hmm.
and
It was very haphazard.
well, another thing that's not in here, her wife
It was right there.
was right there. So what do you think he was thinking? He was thinking these are lesbians.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna kill me a lesbian. That's or I'm gonna kill me a black man, Mr. Porter.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get it twisted. Don't fall for the okie doke. There's more to what we see. Your eyes are not lying to you. Your eyes are not lying to you. Racism, prejudice, all played a part in both of these situations. And why Keith Porter's situation isn't being echoed throughout the land too, just as much. So what is going on right now? People are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And the best example of fear comes from someone that heard it directed right at him that substantiates what I'm talking about when you're if you're a woman, especially if you are a white woman. Let me just say it like this. Basically, to be woke, when you have in America, everything has always been directed what happens with black folks and white folks. And so, when we were marching, you saw black folks. When white folks came along, they were being mistreated just like they were Black. And that is happening right now when you have white people that are doing things for civil rights and human rights. That's associated with what Black people have always done. So therefore, a lot of white folks now being put in a category to be treated just like Black folks if you are going to protest and rebel. They've made up this whole this line. I did an episode several episodes ago about Antifa. Antifa, I can't ever say the German phrase, but Antifa is not an organization. It's an ideology to fight against fascism, racism, injustices.
Mhm.
And so you have people like your president is trying to make you think Antifa is a body of people that have meetings, that have dues. That is not the case. Antifa is not an organization.
Mm-mm.
It's an ideology to fight against.
Ku Klux Klan is an organization.
I'm gonna put that in there.
Mhm.
So a lot of people that are being sort of like, Renee Nicole Good, the guy saw her wife, I think her name is Rebecca, they call her Becca.
Mhm.
She was right there filming. She's in the
Mhm.
background. You hear her yelling, what have you done? She's in those videos, and I won't go
Mhm.
through all of them. But I want you to listen to this. This will give you an idea of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about this thing about fear.
Minneapolis pastor was among the protesters following yesterday's shooting. He was
Listen
in a
to what he
neighborhood where the
says.
shooting happened and has worked there for years. Reverend Kenny Callahan says he was handcuffed and detained by a masked federal agent and put in the back of an SUV. He says the agent asked, "Are you afraid yet?" When he was eventually released, Reverend Callahan says the agent told him, "Well, you're white, and it wouldn't be any fun."
Listen to this. Jennifer,
Mhm.
listen to this crap. I wasn't always a preacher. Some of the videos, people are cussing everything. I used to be a bouncer and things like so. I know about cussing. My grandmothers will both say, this is enough to make a preacher cuss. And you got a pastor here who is told, are you afraid yet?
Mm.
And if you are white,
Well, you're white. It wouldn't be any fun.
just to blow you away.
Just get out.
Reverend Callahan joins me now. Reverend, thank you for joining us. These are some explosive allegations. Tell me about what happened.
So as I arrived at church yesterday, I noticed that there was something going on just a block and a half from the church. And so I grabbed my whistles because we're used to doing that. And I went down to see what was going on. And I realized it was an ICE raid. And there were many, many protesters. So I joined the protesting. And before I knew it, I saw ICE agents circling a young woman who appeared to be Hispanic. And so I approached her, and we were at that point chanting, "We are not afraid. We are not afraid. Go."
Listen, you had the groups, Black and brown folks, appear to be Hispanic. We assume she was brown, and a woman, and a Black man killed. These people, this is a racist agenda that's out there, dressed up in a different wardrobe of Klansmen right now.
Go out of our state. We are not afraid. And I said to this ICE agent, take me. Stop harassing her. Take me. The agent came, got in my face, pointed a gun at me, and said, "Are you afraid now?" To which I said, "I am not afraid." The next thing I knew, they were putting handcuffs on me, and they put me in the back of an SUV. They came back 3 times, and they asked me if I was afraid yet. To which I replied, "Hell no, I'm not afraid of you. And I'm never going to be afraid of
he
you."
cusses, he's a
The
preacher.
third time when they came back, they asked for my identification. They asked for my cell phone. I asked them if I was under arrest. They didn't answer. And then they said to me, "Well, you're white. You won't be any fun anyway. You can get out of the car."
My goodness.
I was astounded to experience and see such blatant racism and the effects that this is having on our community. But let me tell you, the other thing that I was amazed by was the number of different kinds of persons that were showing up at that rally to support immigrants and to be able to say, no, we are going to support our immigrant siblings because this is what we do. And so I was grateful to be there,
Yes.
and grateful to stand in solidarity with anyone who is marginalized within our society, and will continue to advocate for the rights of my immigrant siblings here in Minneapolis and around the world.
That is a shocking thing for you to say, he said to you. Was there any other agent around? Did anybody look at him askance? Was there any reaction?
There were two other agents, and I don't know what they were saying. I was so shocked. There were two other persons in the car with me that they released, and I don't know what they were doing to them, but I know that their experiences were the same. It was definitely intimidation at its finest. And they were pepper spraying people yesterday as well and pushing people to the ground. And we were non-violently protesting. We were simply supporting our immigrant siblings and our neighbors that are being attacked by these ICE agents.
Was there any talk about the woman who was shot? I mean, when the ICE agent said, "Are you afraid yet?" What did you understand him to be implying? What was he saying to you? Why would you be afraid? What was he talking about?
So the shooting had already happened, and at that point, it was like a wave of outrage coming from the protesters and the observers. So it was that energy coming from that reality of the shooting. We heard that somebody had been shot and killed, seeing this immigrant woman being harassed. And I don't know what happened to me. In my world, I say God empowered me to speak up for somebody at that moment and gave me the strength to be able to do so. But there was no talk from the ICE agents of anything but pushing people around and acting out of power and control. Complete intimidation. And the crowd was outraged and got louder and louder and louder.
Reverend Callahan, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
My goodness, I can't tell you how this makes me feel, but I was sitting here listening to that, and it made me think about Schwerner, Goodman, and Cheney, in voting the 3 civil rights workers, and how fear was invoked on them, and they were murdered. They were murdered. So where does this come from? It comes from all these lies. Excuse my co-host, she had to step out. We had our little fur kiddos, both of them screaming and yelling at us for some reason. So don't believe what you see. Don't believe what you see with your own eyes. The invoking fear on people is what they like to do. They like to make you feel afraid. So what happens next? So what happens next is, let's listen what Chris Hayes shares with you even more about why this murder of Renee Nicole Good and also Keith Porter was really jacked up. Let's look at this here, and let me share with you something first about the belief. They want you to believe this. This is what Kristi Noem said. Then I'm going to show you how Chris Hayes' little clip kind of negates this. This is what Kristi Noem wants you to believe.
You asked about a shooting that we just had in Minneapolis, Minnesota. It was an act of domestic terrorism.
Welcome back.
What happened was our ICE officers were out in an enforcement action. They got stuck in the snow because of the adverse weather that is in Minneapolis. They were attempting to push out their vehicle, and a woman attacked them and those surrounding them.
Okay.
Attacked them?
You saw the video.
A woman attacked them?
You saw the video. How much snow did you see them stuck in snow? The ice vehicle was right there on the right side, wasn't stuck.
No.
Another ice truck pulled up in front of, we see that on Chris Hayes' clip too, and she was trying to get away, to move away. She was there giving support to friends of hers that dropped her son off at school, so on and so forth. And then she's saying all this. Listen to more of this garbage. She straight out is a liar.
And attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him. And my understanding is that she was hit and is deceased. We're continuing to gather more information, but this goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day. These vehicle rammings are domestic acts of terrorism. We're working with the Department of Justice to prosecute them as such. We will continue to protect our ICE officers and in cooperation with other law enforcement agencies as well. You've seen me in the last couple of days deploy over 2,000 more officers to the Minneapolis area. And in the last 2 days, we've arrested hundreds and hundreds of dangerous criminals, not just fraudsters who stole from the American people billions of dollars and put it in their pockets and enriched their friends from overseas and themselves, but also individuals who committed acts of murder and rape and trafficking and drug exploitation and child exploitation.
Oh, wow. I didn't know Minneapolis was that bad.
Okay, I'm going to show you something. Then keep that in mind, what she just said. And then I'm going to show you some information that is unbelievable. This woman is, as we say, full of it. She was trying to run him over, right?
Oh, yeah, it was an act of terrorism.
Obviously, she was a terrorist person, didn't care about being compassionate, didn't care about showing love and grace to people, right? Let's see what
she was out to kill him.
Let's watch this. See what you think.
Good evening from New York. I'm Chris Hayes. The government's lies are getting even more brazen about who Renee Good, the 37-year-old mother of three, was and how she died. No one could watch the numerous eyewitness videos of her death and in good faith make the kinds of claims the Trump administration has been making and continues to make. That she was committing domestic terrorism, that she ran over the agent who's now recovering in the hospital, threatening his life, with a maroon Honda Pilot that had stuffed animals flowing out of the glove compartment box. Those claims never rang true. That much was immediately obvious, and it became even more obvious today with the leak of a new video from the confrontation with ICE that led to the shooting death of Good. What we got today was a cell phone recording captured by the man who killed her. It's the first look we have gotten of Renee Good alive and then dead. It was first obtained this afternoon by a conservative website. Hours later, MS Now got its own copy from the Department of Homeland Security, a copy that is roughly 10 seconds shorter than the leaked version and omitted a few key details. So I want to play the longer version for you now. And, as we have been the last few days, caution you that it is incredibly disturbing.
Now, this is amazing. Watch her. She's talking to him. I'm not mad at you.
Okay, we don't change our plates every morning, just so you know. It'll be the same plate when you come.
That's her wife.
That's fine. U.S. citizen, former fucking veteran. You want to come at us? You want to come at us? I say go get yourself some lunch, big boy. Go ahead.
Now, her wife is on the other side, where that van is, the white van. Then he just shoots her right in front of her. And you heard the F word.
That's how Renee Good lost her life. That is what the.
Now look at this woman's face. She's showing it. I'm not mad. She was there for her friends.
She says, hey, dude, I'm not mad at you.
It's just.
She knew that they were there doing a job, and she's like, I'm not mad at you. You do your job.
And I guarantee you, I'm glad you saw the clip of her wife. This guy is a racist. He saw that this woman had another female same gender, and I'm gonna kill me a lesbian. I guarantee you. I know. Game, no game. I grew up, I could tell when someone's racist. He had no shame to do this. The last smile that we will ever capture of that young lady is right there. Let's go a little more.
Government claims was domestic terrorism. So what did you see? Again, I'll let you decide. Here's what I saw. The masked, armed ICE agent who has been identified as Jonathan Ross exits his car. The first thing he sees is Renee Good's dog.
That dog, Christian Ohm, I know you wanted her dead. You shot your own dog. You know you don't care nothing about her nor a dog that you shot. I'm sorry. I'm just
The backseat of her Honda. How many domestic terrorists have you seen taking their dogs for a drive out on their operations? It's worth noting that this portion of the video is missing from the version released to us by DHS. You might ask yourself why. Perhaps they don't want people seeing Good's dog in the car. Then we see Ross circle the vehicle.
Jennifer, why do you think that's the case? Why wouldn't they want us to see that? The Homeland Security people, that part of that video.
Well, I can think of a couple of reasons. One is because it would even be proving more that she wasn't out there being a domestic terrorist. But also they didn't want to show the dog because then you've got what's that organization, PETA?
Yeah, PETA.
Going after the government for endangering a dog.
Well, I have a deeper thought why. To have an animal, to have a pet, to
Oh,
have
it shows
your dog,
compassion.
it shows compassion that you are human. It takes, you have to care about life to take care of an animal. We have two that we just love dearly. And just the other day, our dog, one ran out because one, Jennifer's out, we were in the driveway. My heart just fell because I thought she would run out into the street because I've had an animal that happened to and get hit and killed or something. You have to have a heart for people, and to have a heart for animals, you're a good person. Christian Ohm, she kills her animals and doesn't care. Cold-hearted. I'm not going to cuss. Enough to make a preacher cuss, though. Let's see what else Chris says.
While recording, holding his phone to do so. He
Listen.
walks in front of the car, makes eye contact with Renee Good behind the driver's wheel. This is where she speaks to the man who will end her life, saying, "I'm not mad at you." Ross then circles to the back of the car. He records Good's license plate, and here you can see the rear window stickers for national parks and kennel clubs on her Honda Pilot. He is verbally taunted by a woman who is believed to be Renee Good's wife. After that exchange, she goes to get in the passenger side of the car. Then agents yell at Renee Good to get out of the car. And at this point, Ross again walks in front of the vehicle recording Renee Good. He still has his phone out. The phone is out even as he pulls a gun. The last thing she does is move the wheel to the right before she starts to pull forward. You can see Ross lowering the phone as he fires 3 shots. After Renee Good is shot, after her car rolls towards an electric pole and Ross walks alone toward the car, you can hear a voice on the video uttering the words, "fucking bitch." We cannot confirm with certainty it is Ross's voice calling the dead woman a fucking bitch. That video was obtained by a conservative website with close ties to the Minneapolis Police Department. Minutes after it was published online, it was retweeted by, I guess, the guy who's doing this full time, Vice President J.D. Vance, who told his followers to watch it because, quote, the reality is that Ross's life was endangered and he fired in self-defense. So they seem to believe this video makes their case for them. Vance is using it to suggest Renee Good was not, quote, an innocent woman. And his sustained campaign to demonize a dead mother of 3 is so bad his religious faith is being challenged. The National Catholic Reporter yesterday, columnist John Grosso wrote, quote, the vice president's comments justifying the death of Renee Good are a moral stain on the collective witness of our Catholic faith. His repeated attempts to blame Good for her own death are fundamentally incompatible with the gospel. Our only recourse is to pray for his conversion of heart. He's right, it is a moral stain, but it's not the only one. Despite already giving their theory of the case, the Trump administration is still refusing to share evidence with state or local authorities. In an exclusive interview with MS Now's Josh Eininger, the district attorney of Hennepin County, where Renee Good was killed, appealed to the feds to see reason.
I think it's in the best interest of all of us, including the federal government, to just be really transparent. Just allow the BCA in on the investigation to at least see what kind of evidence that you have, because I think we would all want that thorough information, the investigation, before we make a decision.
They're trying to eliminate
The Trump administration, I don't think, wants
state of
that.
Minnesota
Probably because the entire enterprise that brought Jonathan Ross and the
investigating.
rest of those ICE agents to Minneapolis in the first place is fundamentally based on a lie. And it's the lie that Donald Trump ran on. It's the lie that they've continued to push, that the Trump administration is clearing out the most dangerous criminal migrants in America to make those communities safer. I want you to look at this analysis because it's pretty important.
This is very
According
important.
to analysis, the available data yesterday by political researcher Austin Kocher, almost all of new ICE detainees held since last September, 92% have no criminal convictions. Those masked men with the guns running roughshod are picking up random people. They're rounding up car washers and daycare attendants,
Right.
construction workers, sometimes standing down beneath an unfinished house and waiting for them to come off the roof. And American citizens, we should know. American citizens who were just in the way or looked too much like an immigrant, or who have protested out of a desire to protect their neighbors from the incursions of those same masked henchmen of the state. And that's all because the Trump administration has decided to harass and abduct and sometimes shoot people who have committed no crimes and pose no threat, like Renee Good. In a statement to Minnesota Public Radio, Renee Good's wife, Becca, said this today. Renee lived by an overarching belief. There is kindness in the world, and we need to do everything we can to find it where it resides and nurture it where it needs to grow. Renee was a Christian who knew that all religions teach the same essential truth. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe and whole. On Wednesday, January 7th, we stopped to support our neighbors.
You saw the last phrase. Said we had.
Renee was a Christian who knew that all religions teach the same essential truth. We are here to love each other, care for each other, and keep each other safe and whole. On Wednesday, January 7th, we stopped to support our neighbors.
We had whistles.
They had guns.
I wanted us to say that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is just blows me away. I like the one part here, and being a pastor, you know, she said Renee was a Christian. My wife and I both have had this discussion regarding, people that are LGBTQ and how that fits. We have a consensus, you can tell me if I'm wrong, that Jesus loves everybody.
Yeah, he does.
He loves everybody. And so, as we move forward into understanding what's going on, let's not get it twisted that that these ICE people are going after criminals. I just want to share something what kind of fits into what he just said, that statistic about in 2025, yes, 2020, a total of 32 people had died while in the custody of U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, that's ICE. This makes 2025 the deadliest year in the agency in more than 2 decades, matching a previous record in 2004. Deaths in ICE custody. The fatalities in 2025 occurred amid record high detention numbers, which reached over 68,400 people by mid-December. So you know what happened? This mandate went out by Stephen Miller, who is really the architect behind all this corruption in this country. I've given you information regarding Stephen Miller and his Nazi approach and his racist attitude ever since he goes all the way back to junior high and high school, that he wanted to increase the incarceration, deportation, whatever, by 4,000 people a month more. So you have this happening. So I just want to share that fits into 92% of the people aren't even criminals that are being detained by ICE. It's ridiculous. So we have this notion of killing people.
Yeah. So where do we go from here with this? Obviously, what we've seen, and I think majority of us can agree, was a tragedy.
Yes.
And it's sad. And it could have been me. Easily. Could have been me. So what do we do with this information? Where do we go from here?
Well, first of all,
We don't give up.
First of all, we have to do is recognize where this is coming from. And we can't do anything unless we
Our sea
acknowledge
drugs, as they
this.
call them, they use the term sea drugs. The drugs coming in by sea are like 5% of what they were a year ago. Less
Mixed
than
up
5%.
statistics.
So now they're coming in by land. And even the land is concerned because I told them that's going to be next. The land is going to be next. And we may go to the Senate. We may go to the, Congress and
Listen, the land
tell
may
them
be
about
next.
it. But I can't imagine they'd have any problem with it. I think, in fact, while we're here, I think it's
What he's talking about is unlawful blowing up of ships in
He's talking about Venezuela.
Venezuela blowing up
Mhm.
those boats. There's no proof that they had drugs on. They were in the sea. So he was killing over 100 people, they say now. It was up to 87 that he said. Now he's talking about the land. Now that's where we are with this whole thing with Renee Nicole Good and with Keith Porter. Let's listen.
Good idea, Pete. You go to Congress, you tell them about it. What are they going to do? Say, gee, we don't want to stop drugs pouring in? I don't see any Lawson going. No reason not to. They'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go. We're going to tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it, except for the radical left lunatics.
And Mr. President, if you are
gonna kill
declaring
'em.
war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. They're going to be like dead.
Dead.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
did you guys get that? He said go to Congress. He said we don't have to go to Congress. He actually said that. We don't have to go to Congress. We're just going to kill them.
Mm-hmm.
They'll be like dead.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, I don't need anybody's approval for me to kill people. Just like the whole thing with ICE. So there's more to his story, what he's doing. Okay, listen to this. He's doing this. I want you to watch.
Morning, announcing the commencement of the annual purge.
What the hell is going on? See, we have to let the police do their job. And if they have to be extraordinarily rough, the police want to do it. The Border Patrol wants to do it.
Oh my God.
If you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day with the drugstores as an example. Now, if you had one really violent day.
At the Siren, all crime will be legal for 12 hours.
One rough hour, and I mean real rough. The word will get out, and it will end immediately.
I purged to keep my country great.
So you see what we're dealing with here. This guy wants to do a purge. He wants to get rid of all what he called vermin. He can care less about America or democracy. But we know that we live in a time that we're dealing with ICE that are dressed up Klansmen, actually. And where do we go from here, Jennifer? Where do we go from here?
I think that we need to keep peacefully protesting, and we need to get out and vote.
I want to leave with two more.
I don't know what else to say. Where do we go from here?
I have two more things to share. they're very emotional. And I'm going to read something at the end. But I think this person kind of shared with us, I think, the heart, what we all feel with the death of Keith Porter and Renee Nicole Good.
President Trump has made it clear that he only opposes lawful immigration when non-white people immigrate to the United States. His immigration agenda isn't about public safety or economic stability or jobs. It's about racism. It was racist during his first administration. It's racist now. And like his first administration, he's hired a bunch of racists to carry it out. In fact, I'm gonna pause here really quickly. I know we're talking about TPS, but I don't know if anyone else has mentioned the fact that ICE agents were literally dragging a pregnant woman just this week in a viral video. So don't tell me that this isn't about cruelty, because it is. Moving on. The president is now on record admitting to calling majority Black and brown nations, quote, shithole countries. He consistently refers to Black and brown people as, quote, low IQ, stupid, or nasty. His agenda is about one thing: giving racial preference to specific people seeking to immigrate to America, which is illegal and unconstitutional. But nevertheless, they are going to keep trying to get y'all to believe that immigrants are the cause of all your.
So I wanted you to just kind of hear that, how what she's looking at. This guy is trying to whitewash America. And I really feel that the death of Renee Nicole Good and Keith Porter kind of fits into. Tom Hartman is a really interesting writer. I'm just going to show little excerpts here. So Franklin, Benjamin Franklin, that is, he had a pen name or pseudonym that he would often use. And I'm going to just go back and share this. And so Tom Hartman, when he saw the last name Good, it made him think about Benjamin Franklin, Renee Nicole Good. So this is what he says. Okay. When 16-year-old Franklin slipped his first silence, do good, he made him think about Renee Nicole Good. Essay under the door of his brother's print shop in 1722. America had few police departments, no body cameras, no qualified immunity, and few militarized patrols prowling city streets. But young Franklin already understood the danger. So what he goes down to say, remember the word, Franklin's name was silence, do good. So Franklin's insight, so he said, power that is insulated, Franklin taught, answers only to itself and believes this very authority excuses the violence it uses. The power, the convicted felon in chief has insulated power.
Sure does.
Forget about the legislative or and other branches, judicial branch. Okay, so Franklin's insight didn't die on the printed page, but rather became the moral backbone of the American revolutions. As do good, think of Renee Good, he repeatedly cautioned us that power breeds cruelty when it's insulated from consequences, that authority becomes violent when it believes itself superior, and that free speech is usually the first casualty of abusive rule.
Wow.
That's exactly.
He was a prophet and he didn't know it.
1722.
Oh my gosh.
Benjamin Franklin told us, even though he was into slaves and all that stuff. Then he says, I like this, whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freedom of speech. That's what the convicted felon in chief has done. And it concludes, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but Thomas Paine also, you hear Jamie Raskin always refers to Thomas Paine also. But Thomas Paine took Franklin's warning and sharpened it into a blade. Thomas Paine said, is a necessary evil, but when it turns its legally authorized violence against its own people, it becomes intolerable. Authority doesn't legitimize force, Paine argued. Instead, the ability to use force without accountability inevitably corrupts authority.
Mm.
This is some powerful stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm going to conclude here. Franklin himself became even clearer about the threat of unaccountable state-imposed violence as he aged and continued. Governments, he repeatedly warned, always claim violence is necessary for safety. And we saw that yesterday when puppy killer Christian Ohm claimed that Renee Good was a domestic terrorist. You see, her comments is the perfect illustration of Franklin's assertion that state violence, once normalized, always tries to claim justification. And I'm going to conclude.
Wow.
Go ahead. What are you going to say?
No, this is just good. This is good stuff.
Silence do good, Benjamin Franklin's fictional character, would have confronted him head on, the ICE agent, as she or Franklin repeatedly did with the petty self-important officials of colonial New England. He repeatedly noted that surrounding liberty for little temporary security not only doesn't prevent state brutality, but actually it invites it in. So in 1789 letter, Franklin explicitly warned us about men like, I'll say it in here, Donald Trump and the siren song of law and order. You know, he's always talking about that. And finally, once the state teaches its agents that force is the solution, force becomes their habit. That's how police states are formed out of democracies, as the citizens of Russia, Hungary, and Venezuela have all learned. And now it appears we're learning as America becomes the world's most recent police state. So, people, what are we going to do, Jennifer? Just might give you an answer. If we want to live in the democratic republic, Franklin Payne and James Madison, imagine, where power is given by, quote, the consent of the governed, then outrage isn't enough. We must demand accountability, insist on transparency, and refuse to accept state violence and the fire hose of official lies as the price of order. That's what we must do. So you ask, that's the answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it starts now. So I say to all of us out there, we lost two people here. As we close, I want to just say this. Rest in peace, Keith Porter. Rest in peace. We remember Keith Porter died December 31st, unnecessarily 2020. A life lost, a life that mattered. Rest in peace. Rest in power, my brother. So we lost him. And I also say as we close, rest in peace, Little Flower. She was a great poet, Miss Renee Nicole Good. Carry on. Rest with the ancestors. You know, it's a sad day, Jennifer. I know that we kind of went a little long today, but you know, there's, as we say as a preacher, there's a lot of meat on that bone, and we didn't share everything today. But we just hope that that we have given you something to think about. Remember, knowledge is the key. Love and prayer is necessary. And Jennifer, I'd like for you to pray us out and pray over the loss of the people that we've been talking about in this country, if you don't mind.
Sure. Father God, we thank you. We thank you, Lord, that we have the knowledge, Lord, the knowledge of love, the knowledge of what it means to love your neighbor. You are that example for us. You are love. We ask, Lord, that you would look after Keith and his family. We ask also, Lord, that you would look after Renee and her family and her children. I don't know where we go from here, Lord. All I know is that we have to continue to keep pressing on, and that we need to still find hope, and we still need to find joy in living, and that we need to figure out what we can do together as a nation. We need to unify with one another, figure out what we can do as a nation to make changes for a better world. We want to leave this world in a better place than what it was when we arrived. I'm not sure if that's possible, but that's our hope, and that's our trust that we have in you. We thank you, Lord, for all you do for us. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. We're so glad that you all were able to join us today. And we ask you to please to go to This is Racing Cultures, Bridging the Divides. You can also go to our website and get more information, Racing Cultures, Bridging the Divides. And up in the corner, there's a barcode where you can donate to the cause, to help us, to reach other people, to help feed people, clothe them, whatever we need to do. And remember that we must stay woke. We must stay woke, because today's episode dealt with the lying eyes. They're trying to tell us about Renee Goodman. And also,
Actually, that's a little typo there. It's Renee Good.
Yeah,
So-
Renee Good. But most important thing, stay woke.
Yes.
To the cause. And God bless all of you. Have a great day. And remember, Chicago Bears rock. My team won. My team
All
won.
right.
Amen. Enjoy yourselves. We'll be thinking about you. Remember, God bless you. God keep you. Please like and subscribe and share this channel.
Yes, please.
Please do that, and stay woke, and also stay loving one another. Okay.
Until next time.
Till next time. God bless.
God
all of
bless.
you.
Bye.
Bye.